What's going on, everybody? It's Zach the Jedi Otaku. We're going to watch another episode of Star Wars Rebels. This time we're on Season 3, Episode 4, Hera's Heroes, I believe. Last episode was the Wedge extraction, I believe, or the Antilles extraction. We got to see Wedge. We got to meet Hobby, which was a fun little surprise. They didn't really let us know we were going to find out until in the episode. We didn't really get a lot of Sabine and the Mandalorian aspect, just little hints of it, whereas I had originally thought we were going to get a kind of a bigger push into that character arc. I'm sure we'll see more of it going forward. It'll be interesting to see if we get to see more of Wedge and see if we get to see him maybe with Ezra being on a strike team, perhaps, or doing a mission together, or anything else of that nature. I'm assuming this episode we're going to get to see some of Hera, maybe some of Cham Syndulla, and see more about what's going on. Maybe Rythal and the rest of that, the Twi'leks culture, maybe something more on there. But I don't know anything else, so let's get into it. Ready, play.
How did they find us?
The Empire is getting better at anticipating our moves.
This will slow them down.
Oh, that's the line from the what's it called? The trailer. Maybe it is a Thrawn episode. This is really different. The way that they're designing the scout troopers, it's a very different design than the rest of the stormtroopers we've seen, and a little bit different. I'm trying to something about it. Uh-oh. Oh.
Hey kid, you got this outfit? Nope, the kid wants your helmet. Sorry.
That was pretty sweet. That's a slick move he did, though, to get into the ship, but he didn't think it through.
A totem passed down the line of the Twi'lek family. It honors all who have come before.
Each parent adds to the artwork to include themselves in the legacy.
Family history is living art.
Hera would have inherited
Living
the
art.
family's
An art,
glory.
maybe.
And I still will.
Thrawn.
That heirloom was
Getting you in unnoticed won't be easy.
They might notice
Huh.
her,
Huh.
but they won't recognize me.
I keep forgetting what they call these
Control.
these walkers. They're not ATSTs. They're a slight different type. Someone in the comments, let me know what the actual call sign is for that chicken walker.
Where did you find her?
I caught this rebel on patrol.
Let me go, you blur dropping.
Take the prisoner inside for processing. The transport will come pick her up later.
That wasn't a Steve Bloom voice for the Stormtrooper. That was a different voice that time. I like she switched back into her Hera switched back into her Ryloth accent.
themselves at home.
I think it's interesting. We finally Ezra's big enough to actually fit into the Stormtrooper armor now, which is cool. We get to see his
What's with him?
size
That
increase.
Y-wing crashed here back in the Clone War. My father left it as a memorial. It
That's
also
Chopper's
happens to be the
Y-wing.
ship I pulled Chopper out of, so he still has issues with it. He'll be along.
That's really cool. The house design is so intricate. Thrawn's here.
No one in or out.
Oh, this reminds me of
Security per your orders,
the
brother.
second book.
We don't understand why. The rebel activity is far from here.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's closer than you think, Captain. Out of the way, servant! You are not permitted on these floors. I have told you, people, restrict your movements to the kitchen.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Just a moment. Guards, bring her here.
I don't think I could be of any help to you.
No, I disagree. Bring her to your office for questioning.
Oh, he knows.
You shall make a valuable example to others of your kind who think to steal from the Empire.
She's far more valuable than you realize.
He
How do you
knows.
mean?
To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. So I will ask you again, Captain. Do you know what this is?
Some primitive native trinket.
It's a Kalikori,
Hmm.
a revered Twi'lek heirloom, passed from parent to child through generations. Worthless to outsiders, priceless to family.
Yes, well, she stole it.
Yes, but why?
Music.
War. It's all you ever known, isn't it? You were so young when you survived the Clone War. No wonder you're as equipped in spirit to fight as well as you do. War is in your blood. I studied the art of war, work to perfect it. But you were forged by it.
Sir, she's just a peasant.
It doesn't matter where we come from, Admiral. Our will to be free is what's going to beat you.
You dare!
Slavin, please, you embarrass me in front of our host.
Host? What?
May I introduce Hera Singular?
Oh my god, he's so good.
Military
Oh,
leader,
he's
daughter of the
so
Emperor,
perfect.
Jam Singular.
Oh my god. Oh, he knew about him too? Fuck!
How did you know?
Because rebels have friends always rushing to the rescue. Have the Kalikori transported to my ship.
We should just destroy that piece of Twi'lek trash.
My apologies, Captain Slavin. I forgot not everyone is able to appreciate art as I do. Now, if you're excused, conducting an experiment that requires my attendance, I leave it to your command to finish the job.
And so I shall.
So scary.
You're too important. And my daughter is not important. I will trade my life for hers. She will lead in my place.
Captain Slavin, I will surrender to you. But what assurance will you give me that my daughter and the boy will
Such a difference from season
Only
2.
that if you do not arrive at the exchange by sundown, they will both be terminated.
Oh! Ow, chop.
I am sorry, Father.
It's all right, Hera. Even I have been captured before.
No, I'm sorry about the house. Chopper!
You are serious?
I wonder if Thrawn knew that was going to happen, or suspected. He said he wants to know his experiment, right? I wonder what he wanted to do. What was his experiment? Seeing what would happen if he let this go? Gaining more knowledge about this type of rebels. This is his first encounter with the Ghost crew.
You're in range, sir.
Hold your fire. They've earned their victory today.
Your rebels are getting away!
Oh, not to worry, Captain. I've found this whole experience to be very enlightening.
Yup.
I thought I needed it to keep my mother's memory alive, but I have you. I have my father, and I'm surrounded by my family every day. As long as we hold on to that, she'll live on.
This was an awesome episode. I have a ton of notes, lots of notes, and first thing I want to talk about is Thrawn. Man, oh man, oh man, do they get Thrawn in this series? He's so smart. I just love how smart he is, and just knowing that there was a rebel attack, on that patrol, and seeing that the door close or hearing the noise, he knew that their rebels were in the base. So that was really cool how he knows all of these things. I love how respectful Thrawn is to his enemies, and doesn't underestimate his enemies at all. He respects them and he wants to learn from them. I love that quality that Thrawn has. It makes him so much more dangerous and deadly and intimidating. And speaking of intimidating, his outburst when Slavin's like, we should just throw away that piece of junk, the Calicari, and Thrawn just like grabs him and just that hiss. Oh God, I was freaked out. I couldn't do anything but laugh because I was freaked the fuck out. So good. And the music that he has, whoever the sound designer is or the sound artist, the sound director is for the show, man, did they do a good job on his music. And I like how at the end of the episode, he's let the rebels get away. They earned it this time. And I love that he's letting them go. And this is twice now we've seen him let the rebels go for their meager reward. And he's like, I'm learning about them. Each of these interactions is informative to me rather than going out and acting in anger or trying to get retribution. He's like taking it, okay, I see what you did there. I'm going to let it go, but I'm going to learn. I'm not going to let you do that next time. You're going to go ahead, collect it. Do you. Be happy with what you got now because it ain't going to continue. I love that that's his mindset. I love that. I like those creatures, the blurgs. Those are cool little creatures, and I love learning about different cultures in the Star Wars universe. That's something that's really been awesome about Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and what I'm assuming is going to happen in Rogue One. It's just all of these different stories that are not the trilogies, that are not the Skywalker family saga. We get to learn so much more about the Star Wars universe and how it expands and how there are all these amazing stories to tell. And I just love that aspect. I love how Filoni is just making us such a bigger and more diverse and dynamic and just beautiful universe to be part of and to learn more about. I love it so much. I like how Ezra is now big enough to barely get into the stormtrooper armor, because it kind of reminds me of Star Wars: A New Hope, where Leia's like, "Aren't you a little small to be a stormtrooper?" And like Ezra's just big enough to fit into it, so he kind of fills it out a little bit, but not completely like the other guys. So that's cool, and a little bit of a callback. Something that I have really enjoyed in this series, and I've talked about it several times in previous episodes, is the animation. It's just beautiful. And something I noticed in this episode was the lighting, how in certain scenes, the lighting was very dynamic. You had reflections off of the armor and shadows or haziness from a little bit of fog. And it's just so nice because you wouldn't have been able to do a lot of that stuff a couple of years ago. And it's just shows how good and how close we are to bridging that gap between real live action and completely CGI. And that line is being so blurred right now. And obviously with Rebels, there is a animated design quality to it, so it doesn't feel realistic, but it does portray realism in a certain aspect. So I love how we're getting closer and closer to that, and it just shows how beautiful it is. And speaking of the designs and how everything is kind of evolving and being able to look at things that we wouldn't have been able to do with computers a few years ago, I just thought the Zendula house was beautifully designed and so intricate. There's so many little details that just as characters were walking by that didn't necessarily need to be that intricate or carefully designed. A few years ago, it would have been fine if it was just kind of blank. And no one would have noticed it. But in this one, like there are holes and there's tapestries and woven items, and it's so good. And these little details, I just love how good it is, and all those little intricate pieces. I really liked the callback for Chopper and the Y-wing. I thought that was really a nice little tidbit for character development and getting to see, even though Chopper's a droid, he still is a character, and they give the droids in Star Wars a bit of an emotional quality to them. So their ability to kind of live in that PTSD mode of being previously a astromech in the Clone Wars and fighting there. I like that. There's so many themes that Rebels kind of goes along that are more adult than you would expect for a kids show on Disney XD. There's a lot of adult themes that are discussed. So, post wartime feelings, and then kind of going back, being drawn into that as soon as you see something. So, like, it seemed like Chopper was kind of being pulled back into his memories of that time and reliving that to a degree. And those can be very traumatic experiences or nice experiences. You don't really know. So I like how it's Harrow's like, leave him be. He's kind of in that mode and almost a bit of mourning a little bit of his past life or where he is now. So it's a solemn moment. So I like that a lot. I really enjoyed that. Another callback that I noticed in this episode was all the Twi'leks wearing armor that seemed very reminiscent of Stormtrooper armor. And I thought, I was like, maybe they stole it from them. And then I realized, no, wait, it kind of more looks along the lines of the Clone Trooper armor from Clone Wars. And they were all part of the Clone Wars. So it makes sense that they would have some repurposed armor along those design aspects. I just like little callbacks like that. One of the things that I like talking about themes and being kind of darker, stronger themes than you would see on a kid's show was Hera's, she sacrificed her old home, but it doesn't matter because her family is her crew and her family is where she's at with her people. And I like that. That's the aspect that you go from there. And that's a good kind of moral aspect. It's not the thing, it's the people, and it's how we act and it's how we move forward. And I like that that is a point, a theme that Rebels is going. I don't have any speculation for the future other than we're going to get more Thrawn and his reeling in the Rebels and doing more of that stuff. So I'm excited to see that and excited to see where else the Rebels go because they could potentially die. We don't know where they are in the movies going forward, 4, 5, 6, or 7, or any of the novels in that 30-year gap. So it's possible some of them may die or we may lose them. So I like where the stakes are right now. I don't know where we're going to go forward other than Thrawn pulling him in. That's where I'm at. So like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know what you guys thought of my reaction and my review. And as always, Jedi Otaku out.